Chaser Report is recorded on Gadigal land.
Striving for mediocrity in a world of excellence. This is the Chaser Report.
Hello and welcome to the Chaser Report for Friday the 17th of February. I'm Charles Firth and with me today is Lachlan Hodson.
Ah, yes, CCP, enemy number one.
Very, very cheeky little boy, Lachlan.
Cheeky. I thought that you guys annexed that word. I thought we'd never describe anything that Chase ever did as cheeky since 2007.
Cheeky
wow.
and irreverent, I think.
No, it's a pleasure to be on the show today, Charles.
Yes.
And scared that I might have just started another international conflict.
That's right. So for people who haven't seen it, Lachlan, by the time you listen to this podcast,
yes,
Lachlan will be internationally internet famous, really, aren't you? You're internet famous now.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping for doing something cool rather than for a more Julian Assange type reason.
Yeah, starting a war. Yeah, have you made... so we should explain what you did first, and then we'll get to working out your escape plan to get you to Russia and be protected Snowden style. So what happened?
Look, it all started with a comment we got on our online space at chaser.com.au a couple of days ago. Charles, I'm not sure if you heard this news story about a balloon getting blown up in America. Did you hear that one?
I don't know whether you listened to the podcast, Lachlan, podcast producer, but we've been talking about it a lot. Like some of them are spy balloons, and other of them are aliens, aren't they?
Yep. If Dave Milner is to be believed, most of it's aliens.
So these balloons are just crazy. Like every country seems to now be on high alert, isn't it? Like
yes,
like balloons are the new threat. They're the new nuclear war. You know,
it's the balloons arms race. Everyone's racing to build their own balloon.
Yeah. So what did you do? Given that everyone's really scared, every country in the world is really scared, and if it flies over their sovereign territory, what happens when balloons fly over a nation's sovereign territory? They get gunned down now. They send up jet fighters.
Well, so I packed myself in some protective gear and hit up the Chinese consulate in Australia to see exactly how long it would take them to shoot me down.
Yeah, because the thing is, because we went around Sydney.
We were having a brainstorm.
Yeah, we were having a brainstorm, and it was like there's sovereign territory all around the world, obviously, like countries. But in Australia, you know, like if you the Chinese consulate, that is sovereign territory of China. Like legally,
when I'm in their space, I am on their soil. Yes,
and China's been flying these balloons over presumably all of our countries. Yeah, so maybe they deserve to know what it feels like.
Exactly, and you look at the big story in the news this week about how the government is going, oh, maybe we shouldn't have used all these Chinese security cameras in all of our government buildings. I thought, I spy,
Lachlan,
you spy, we spy.
Yeah, but Lachlan, in fairness, the Chinese are saying that they're not spy balloons. They're just weather balloons. They're not spy balloons, are they?
Which is exactly why, Charles, the balloon that we took out to the consulate had clearly written in big writing, not a spy balloon.
Yes.
Because that way they couldn't get confused.
Perfect. No, exactly. Like, therefore, it's fine. Like, to just fly a balloon over sovereign territory.
Exactly.
Like,
it's not a
spy balloon. It's not a spy balloon.
And I just had to check the weather over their fence. You know, there was some really interesting weather. And at one point, I said to a security guard accosting me, I just said, when do you clock off out of curiosity? It's just for the weather. Not only...
So let's just go back a little bit because I don't know what happened. You've only just come from here. Yeah. What happened? Like, so you turn up.
I turn up.
What are you dressed?
So
in?
actually, I'm not sure if you can see. I
can see. Yes,
I'm
not a spy.
A giant t-shirt that also says "not a spy" because I didn't want them getting confused. I didn't want them thinking I was a spy.
It's in nice handwritten. You've literally handwritten "not a spy" on a t-shirt. Brilliant.
I'll tell you later about the
quality
the prepping
props
for this stunt. Yeah. Well, so Charles, you remember when we're brainstorming this stunt and we were thinking about what security threats we're going to be facing in this, sovereign soil, and you talked all about how there'd be feds, there'd be cops, the fact that the Chinese consulates and embassies are actually known or have been, I believe there's a controversy where they're hiring their own secret police from inside the building to operate as a almost militia style security operation. Yeah. No, that was one of the threats that Cam and I, our wonderful editor, were worried about facing as we strolled on down to this building. So we're decked out, and you remember we got it cleared with legal. We talked with Jules. We talked with Michael Bradley about what threats we were going to face here. So Cam and I. We're sweating. Wow, heart rates are high.
Because it's interesting because when we talked about it a couple of days ago, I went, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Like as long as you stay on our side of the board, even if you just cross over, it won't be too bad. And then we texted the lawyer, and immediately it was like, actually, they're very worried about that, and they don't put up with things at all. Yeah, you should definitely be very stressed about it. And Cam is a completely stressed person anyway, so
which is why I then get so stressed as well, because I'm there with the other stressed person. We're just worrywarts, thinking that we're going to get accosted. So we get to the building, and I walk out the front, and I've got this big old balloon here, and I'm wearing my cute little shirt, and I'm just thinking, how long is it going to take them to notice me? And I walk out in front of the big wall, the Great Wall of Consulate, and you know how we were talking about the massive security force that we thought we'd be facing.
Yeah.
How many guards do you reckon they chucked at us?
I don't know, like half a dozen, like 6 or 7, was it?
No, so incredibly, they only chucked out one old Italian guy. What? Yes. Yeah. This man was the last line of defense for this building. Has had tons of protests as we research, and he's the only person they had
probably
to defend.
All the other security guards were busy torturing Uyghurs inside. So,
well, yeah, but no, presumably. I mean, I was just surprised because my local Hoyts has more security than sovereign soil.
The Chaser Report. Now with extra whispers.
So we walk out, we unwind this balloon, we get this gorgeous shot of me wearing my shirt with the balloon right next to the Chinese flag.
And was it
awesome.
Was it helium, or how did you get it to float?
Yeah, I found a couple of just things that Rio Tinto had left lying around, and that got it floating pretty quickly.
Yeah, right. Okay, great. Yeah.
We do the stunt. And it goes well. They kick us out. They rough us up a little, and we tell them, which way's the U.S. embassy? Out of curiosity, I'm not sure. Not that you'd know where that embassy is, or would have ever sent a weather balloon to that area. But we'll float on over there ourselves later.
Yeah.
Which has got Cam and I thinking, if this video does well, if it gets 1 million likes, we'll drive to Canberra. And we'll do it at the actual US embassy.
And I've done stuff outside the US embassy, and they are hard asses.
Yeah.
They are they don't care about Australian sovereignty. Like the AFPs, they're going, we can look up. No, we'll just get our own guns.
Yeah. Well, actually, guns and shooting it down. You've made me totally remember. So at the end of the stunt, you know how you get the post-stunt depression? Our listeners wouldn't know, but there's this weird occurrence where after a massive high, you then get a massive low, and you just feel really crap for an hour after the stunt, or actually immediately right after it.
Yeah, because the thing is, the adrenaline, you get all this adrenaline beforehand, and then actually it helps you focus when you're in the stunt.
It does.
But then the adrenaline has nowhere to go. So you just feel awful. And the tip that I got 20 years ago was that you just then immediately have to go and get drunk after.
I'm now.
Yes, right. You're on your whiskey.
Good advice, Charles.
Yeah.
No, so we're standing at the front of
this
consulate.
So what happened?
After
and you're already feeling awful.
And I'm kind of going, I want to do more. I want to do something a bit more. And Cam, genius as it is, goes, hey, mate, oi, let's start World War III. And we go to tie the balloon to the building to leave it there. And as we're doing so...
Well, but it's all right because it's not a spy balloon.
It's not a spy balloon. It's not a spy balloon.
It's not a spy balloon.
The only thing we're surveilling is weather. We go to do this, though, and we accidentally add more to the problem because our balloon, the string that was attached to it, snapped. And suddenly, this massive, massive balloon is now, it's currently floating somewhere in the Australian airspace, presumably to get shot down by fighter jets. Yeah.
Probably Australian Air Forces.
Yes.
Well, what will happen? They will have been activated. They'll be flying along beside it. They'll see on the side of it, not a spy balloon.
Of course.
What will they do? They probably won't shoot it down.
They'll go,
or will they shoot it down?
Well, I think they're shooting down everything now, even if it's aliens or if it's spy balloons. Yeah,
because you can't believe... What will happen is the aliens who are invading us at the moment will see it and they'll get confused and that they'll try and befriend this balloon, thinking that it's some sort of...
You've been spending way too much time around Milbo.
Yes. Actually, you probably... Although, do you think maybe we should sell your services to the Chinese? Because I think the problem...
I'm the sleeper agent.
Yeah, because the problem that China has faced, right, is that nobody believes that it's not a spy balloon, right? Because they forgot to write on the side of it, not a spy balloon, right? And you've come up with the genius solution, which is just write not a spy balloon.
Yes.
And then sell it to China. But also you clearly are good at making giant balloons, spy balloons. Yeah. So you sell your services, and then everyone will think, "Oh, that's just a silly chaser stunt," but they're actually spy balloons.
Well, Charles,
and that's how we fund our next stunt.
Well, this is how we're funding this stunt, though. Is we're selling the shirt. We're selling the Not a Spy shirts online.
I am definitely buying
because they're
them.
amazing. They're so practical. I didn't even get to tell you before. So there's always three awkward moments when you're doing a stunt. The first worst moment is, of course, when you're doing it. And I've already talked about the second, which is post-stunt depression. But the third is actually before you do the stunt. You do not know a walk of shame, like walking around the streets of Sydney holding a massive balloon, also wearing a shirt that says Not a Spy.
Not a Spy.
It is the exact opposite of subtle, and I cannot wait to see ASIO start using it.
I'll tell you what, you definitely have to try and walk into the ASIO building with that shirt on. You definitely have to try and get into the barracks, out at North Head or something, like the military barracks in Sydney, using that T-shirt. I mean, because we've done it with Trojan Horse. You could do it down at near Centennial Park.
No, I'm not a spy.
Yeah, and then you definitely need to... walk around Parliament House with that.
Yes.
And maybe offer people some rimbimbi or something.
Even better, Charles, we can delegate this work to other people. If we're selling this shirt, we'll just get them to walk around and film it, and then we can, edit that up ourselves and publish it.
It'll be like the Spartacus thing, where no, I am Spartacus. No, I'm not a spy.
No, I'm not a spy.
Mate, you should monitor who buys that T-shirt, because if you get a lot of purchases around, the embassies of Canberra, you might notice. You're going, we've tapped into the lucrative spy fashion market.
By the time we actually turn up to the United States Embassy over there, the feds will already be wearing this. They'll think I'm one of them.
I dare you to try and enter the United States of America using that T-shirt, with that T-shirt on. You have to.
It's not the most embarrassing shirt that either of us have worn in the US, though, Charles.
Yeah,
that's a deep reference.
True.
You're welcome, Chelsea fans.
Wow, that's very deep. In some ways, that T-shirt is almost... That's my favourite part of this whole stunt. The fact that we're selling these T-shirts.
It's totally... When I was wearing it around the house, when I was wearing it in Sydney, actually, I walked past a man. This was before I had the balloon. And he just looked at me and he went, "You don't look Chinese." And it was just
What?
A random man on the street saw me wearing a shirt that said "Not a Spy," and then immediately made the connection.
Yes.
To surveillance.
He knows. I reckon. Yes, he was monitoring. He was like an ASIS
Or
operative.
he was with the Bureau of Meteorology.
Okay, well, congratulations, Lachlan.
Thank you, Charles.
So if you want to see that stunt and you don't have an internet connection, you don't know how to navigate the web, it's on the Chaser website, which is chaser.com.au. You've got to register to see content nowadays on the Chaser website, but it's worth it because
if you comment there and you have a good enough comment, we'll do the stunt that you tell us to do.
We've now done it for a few weeks in a row. We did the Pell stunt a couple of weeks ago.
Triple J was even a bit of a stunt.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the idea for this year. Our gear is from Rode. We're part of the Iconoclast network, and and look, congratulations, Dream Carb, but only after you've edited up this podcast and published it. Okay.
Got me again. Caught. This is going to be a very shoddy edit.